Hi and welcome to Bold Baking Basics. This is where we get stuck into the fundamentals of baking. These videos will get you baking with confidence anytime, anywhere. A creme anglaise or a custard vanilla sauce is baking 101, but it can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to show you a step-by-step recipe to make sure that you make successful creme anglaise. Also, just in case you curdle your creme anglaise, I'm going to show you a fantastic trick to bring it back together. Okay, let's get started in a nice heavy bottom saucepan. So first I'm going to add in my whole milk. You want to make sure that it's whole milk so it's nice and fatty for better flavor. And then I'm going to pour in some cream. Now you can use any type of cream you want for a creme anglaise. It doesn't have to be whipping cream. And if you don't want to use cream, you can use all milk. Here I have a little bit of sugar for sweetness. And then lastly, a very important ingredient in a creme anglaise is a vanilla pod with all that lovely flavor and seeds. So all you want to do is just take a little knife, split it down the middle, and scrape out those seeds. Now I have a link on my website of where you can buy vanilla pods online. It's really, really easy and they're inexpensive. I don't want you to be paying $10 a vanilla pod, that'd break my heart. Okay, just pop that into the pot and the pod as well. Now all you want to do is just turn this onto roughly a medium heat and let it slowly come to a simmer. So while that is slowly coming to a simmer, we're not going to rush it, we're going to let it do its thing. We are going to mix together our egg yolks. So in this bowl I have my egg yolks and a little bit of sugar. Now with a hand whisk you just want to mix these two ingredients together. So now make sure you do this in a medium-sized bowl because we're going to be adding some of that hot mix into this, so you want to make sure that it's big enough. Okay, lovely. Now I can see my mix is just about to come to a simmer. We do not want it to boil. This is perfect. So now we're going to turn it off the heat. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to let this mix infuse, let that vanilla flavor come out of the pod and flavor the cream and milk. So we just want to put it over to the side for around 20 minutes and let it just chill. So it's been 20 minutes, I can smell lovely vanilla in my kitchen. So now it's time to introduce the hot mix into the eggs. Now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a ladle of the hot mix and pour it over the egg mix, and then really quickly go ahead and whisk those two together. Now this method is called tempering, and the reason that you do it is because in a kitchen you never want to add hot into cold, something of two very different temperatures together, because they can curdle, crack, do all sorts of funny stuff. So you want to make sure that they're roughly a similar temperature. That's why we add a little bit of hot into this to warm them up. Add around 2 to 3 ladles of milk just to get your eggs nice and warm. And then once that's all mixed up, we're going to take this mix and pour it back into the pan. So now turn your saucepan on to a medium-low heat, and we are very gently going to cook this custard until it thickens. It just takes a few minutes. Don't crank up the heat and try and make it go faster because you'll end up with sweet scrambled eggs. So once you put your anglaise back onto the pot, you want to make sure that you're stirring constantly because you don't want it to overcook and stick to the bottom of the pan. So just stand here and keep it moving. Also at this point, I don't use a whisk anymore, I use a wooden spoon, and I'll tell you why. You can feel the bottom of the saucepan with a wooden spoon and you can't always feel it with a whisk. You want to know what's going on. In the kitchen, you always want to know what's going on. So just use a wooden spoon and you'll be able to feel if your eggs are sticking a little bit or if it's nice and clean down there. While you're waiting for this to thicken, just note that you don't want to see bubbles of water. You do not want it boiling. Just over steady heat, getting nice and warm and thick. Now this is actually ready. It's been around 7 to 8 minutes or so. And just look at that. You see the way it coats the back of a spoon? It's gotten noticeably thicker. This is perfect. Here I have a water bath and I'm just going to put the saucepan into the water bath, and this will just help the mix cool down and will also stop cooking the eggs, so you won't have to worry about them. So while our creme anglaise is cooling down, I want to show you what you can do if, just if you happen to curdle your creme anglaise. I'm sure you won't, but if you know somebody that does, this is a tip that you can tell them. So as you can see here, I've got a creme anglaise that I curdled. It's really lumpy and you probably think there's nothing you can do about it. Well, you're wrong. Check this out. See this guy? This guy is your best friend in the kitchen. Just watch this. I'm going to put it in and you're just going to emulsify the creme anglaise back together, and in a few seconds you'll see it start to become really smooth and as good as new. So once your creme anglaise is cool, we're going to pour it through a strainer. Now the reason we do this is because we want to get it really lovely and smooth, remove any little lumps, and also remove the vanilla pod. My sieve is nice and clean, which means I did a good job. There's no lumps or anything in there. And then you see this guy, don't throw him away. Give him a little bit of a rinse under the tap, dry him out, and then stick him in your sugar and you'll have vanilla flavored sugar. So there you have it, a beautiful homemade creme anglaise. This will last in your fridge for up to 5 days. Whenever you're ready to enjoy this, pour it on cobblers, crisps, and one of my favorites, over a bowl of fruit. For lots more bowl baking basics just like this one, head over to my website, and I'll see you back here really soon for more bigger, bolder baking.